Start recording here. So, what did you do yesterday?
I'm going to school and I'm study.
Oh, so you went to school. Wow, that's nice,
Yeah.
Rebecca. So you're having classes at school. That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's really good, Rebecca. Which grade are you in? Seventh, eighth, high school,
No, 9.
ninth grade. Okay, that's all right.
9 years.
Ninth, yeah, we say ninth grade.
No, no.
Yes, ninth grade. Yeah. Here in Brazil, we say year, but in English, we say grade. So let
Oh, okay.
yeah, let me write it down for you. So this is your grade,
Oh,
ninth grade. Yes,
no.
that's middle school. Yes, this is yeah, they consider that middle school. Middle school goes from sixth to ninth, and then after the ninth grade, you go to high school. Then you go
Yeah.
10th, 11th, okay? So many others. That's really good. What do you want to do when you go to high school? What do you want to do for to study for university? What do you want to do?
I don't know, but
Is there any career that you feel attracted to? Something you like more?
um, fireman,
Fireman, really?
fireman.
How nice, Rebecca. That's really good. That's good. Yeah. It's dangerous, but it's good. You help a lot of people. That's nice. Congratulations. Okay, Rebecca. So, we are going to start the new unit today. Today we start unit 8.
Okay.
Yes. How nice, isn't it? And this unit is very good because it talks about stories. Do you like stories? Do you read books?
Yeah.
Yes, good.
So.
Which one? Okay. Do you have a favorite author? A favorite?
What?
Do you have a favorite author, like writer
No.
or writer? No. Okay. Which book have you read that you liked a lot? Do you remember
Um,
the best book?
right now I'm reading the A Biblioteca Mágica de Paris.
Wow, how nice! It's
But
not,
I like
yeah.
so much.
Wow, that's
I
amazing.
like so much the Volta ao Mundo em 80 Dias.
Oh, that's good too, by Jules Verne. That's really good. How nice. Wow, amazing. Good to know you like those stories. So you will enjoy the unit. The unit is exactly about that, about stories, good stories. So if you have your books, open your books to page 87. Let's check it out. Let's see. All right. Can you see the page? Yes?
Yeah.
Let me zoom in. Let me see if the students have the link to the lesson because maybe they don't find
Okay.
the link and then they believe there is no class. So let me try to send the link to the students. Just a
Okay.
moment.
Okay. Okay.
post that there.
Cadê meu copo?
All right. Maybe now it will be easier for them to see the link because even though the link is posted on the group description, sometimes they forget, and then
Yeah.
yeah, and then they don't see a link. They believe there is no class. Okay, so let's see the first page of the unit. Unit 8, stories. How nice. What can you see in the picture, Rebecca?
One artist, one
Mhm.
story. Story.
Oh, one artist, yes. And he is creating some kind of dolls, right? To create stories. These are special dolls, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, they can be
Just
manipulated.
marionettes.
Yes, uh-huh. They can be manipulated and wow, the ones that he made, actually the ones that he
I have
makes,
too much.
yeah, they're so nice and they look real. They're big. They're not like those small ones that people use, right, in presentations for children. No, these ones are big. They're very big. So, where do you think this story comes from? Where do you think this artist comes from?
Uh,
Is he from Europe? Is he from the United States? Russia? Where do you think?
uh, let me see. One. Como se diz cavaleiro em inglês?
Oh, just a moment. Knight.
Knight.
A knight. Yes.
Knight.
Yes.
Knight.
Night like this. Let me write for you. Not night like day and night. No, night like this.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So here we can see, um, right in the first. Oh, Giovanni, how nice! Right here in front of the artist, we can see a knight. That's right. Very good. Hi, Giovanni. Good afternoon. Hey, good to see you. Hello, dear. Today we're beginning a new unit. We are starting unit 8 about stories. How nice, isn't it? Hello, dear. So let's watch the video and then we can find the answers to our questions. Okay, let me clear my annotations here. So let's see some questions before we watch. Here, the first question is, what kind of story is this? Okay, what do you think? Because there are different kinds of stories, right? This one specifically, what kind of story do you think this one is? Then the next question, why do people enjoy stories? And finally, what kind of stories do you like? So let's see what the photographer says. Okay, let's take a look. Let me share the sound.
This photo shows the puppet master Mimo Cuticchio with his puppets. I took this photo at his puppet theater in Palermo, Italy. Cuticchio uses his puppets to perform the Opera dei Pupi, or Opera of the Puppets. Puppet masters like Cuticchio have performed this Opera dei Pupi for hundreds of years. It is an important tradition in Sicily. The Opera dei Pupi is a traditional story. It started in Sicily in the 1800s. It was very popular with working class people who could not read. The puppet masters used their puppets to tell stories from very old poems and books. These stories are part of the history and traditions of Sicily. People enjoy stories because they tell us about ourselves. Stories can tell us how we see the world. Stories can be passed down from parents to children. They can be told through music, books, poetry, and art.
That was really nice, wasn't it? How nice. So, first of all, what kind of dolls are these? What's the name we used to call them? What kind of art is this? They are puppets. Yes. So
Puppet.
puppets. Yes,
Puppets.
puppets are dolls that you can manipulate the movement of the arms, the legs, the eyes, and the mouth. So we call them puppets. Let me write here. Okay. And the artist who plays with puppets, the artist who tells stories using puppets, we call him a puppeteer. Puppeteer. Okay. Because he is specialized in this kind of doll, if I can say it this way, in this kind of human-like creature. Okay, so they use the chords, right, to manipulate all the movements and sometimes even the mouth. So it's not easy to work with puppets, right? And so here he talks in the video, he talks about what kind of play this one is, because it's like a play. A play is like uh, when you go to the theater. When you go to the theater, you go there to watch a play. Okay, so at the theater we watch plays, we see plays actually, right? They perform a play, and using those puppets, they can do the same thing real actors do. They can perform plays for the audience, right? So let's see one more time and let's try to find the answers now to the questions here. Okay, so let me clear my drawings. So let's go.
This photo shows the puppet master Mimoku with his puppets. I took this photo at his puppet theater in Palermo, Italy.
Okay, so where was this photo taken? In Palermo, Italy. Okay, now let's see the next one.
Cuticchio uses his puppets to perform the Opera dei Pupi, or Opera of the Puppets. Puppet masters like Cuticchio have performed this Opera dei Pupi for hundreds of years. It is an important tradition in Sicily. The Opera dei Pupi is a traditional story. It started in Sicily in the 1800s. It was very popular with working class people who could not read. The puppet masters used their puppets to tell stories from very old poems and books. These stories are part of the history and traditions of Sicily.
Okay, so we have the answer to the first question. What kind of story is this? Here he says, let me go back a little bit. Look.
Their puppets to tell stories from very old poems and books. These stories are part of the history and traditions of Sicily.
So what kind of story is that? We even have here, look, this story, uh, this kind of story is called traditional story. So it's something very local, right? And they use these puppets, actually, they used these puppets to tell stories of old poems and books, especially for people who could not read. So they didn't have access to the books, they didn't have access to poems. So he decided, the first person who started this tradition, they decided to do it to help the ones who could not read, who were illiterate. So then they started this opera de pupi. That's the name of this performance. Okay, opera de pupi. So it's a traditional story, and it started back in the 1800s, a long time ago. Okay, and they tell stories of old books and old poems. Look,
It started in Sicily in the 1800s. It was very popular with working class people who could not read.
you see? All right. So it was very popular. It's pretty much like the soap opera we watch today on TV, right? They are also very popular. But there in Sicily in the 1800s, those performances were very popular, especially the ones who could not read books. Okay? So they knew about the stories by watching the opera The Poopy. Okay?
The puppet masters used their puppets to tell stories from very old poems and books. These stories are part of the history and traditions of Sicily.
Mhm.
People enjoy stories because they tell us about ourselves. Stories can tell us how we see the world. Stories can be passed down from parents to children. They can be told through music, books, poetry, and art.
Okay, so let's see the reason why people enjoy stories. Let's see what he says here. Why do people enjoy stories so much? And when I say stories, I'm talking about stories in general. Okay, can be from movies, soap opera, books, poems. Okay, they can be represented in many different ways. Okay, so why do people enjoy stories so much? Why do people enjoy books so much? Movies, soap operas, plays. Why? So that's a very good explanation. Look, people enjoy stories because they tell us about ourselves. Okay. They represent our human behavior. They tell us about our weaknesses, our abilities, our strengths. They tell about emotions also. They tell us about our emotions. They tell us about love, things that we all understand, okay? It's human language.
Tell us about ourselves. Stories can tell us how we see the world.
Yes. Look, this is really true when he says that stories can tell us how we see the world. So, whenever we watch a play or a movie, we can have an idea of how the author or how the writer sees the world. It's like when you are sharing your vision. We do that most every day because now we can write our own stories. We have free access to social network and we can post pictures. So a lot of people share their pictures online because they want to tell a story. Images, they always have a message. Every image we post carries a message. It's a it's an expression of how we see the world. Okay? So pictures always tell a lot of stories. Okay? We don't need to write anything. We don't need to put a caption. Images, they speak louder than words. Okay?
Stories can be passed down from parents to children.
Yes, this is something that's very nice too. In the past, we didn't have books. So stories were passed down from generation to generation orally. They would just share their stories orally. And then the stories would become popular because everybody would know. It's like nowadays the phenomenon of the memes, right? That everybody shares online. Some images, some memes, they are shared millions of times and then they become famous, right? So the same thing happened in the past with stories. I suppose I would have a story to tell. So I would tell you the story. You will hear the story from me, and then you would replicate this story by telling to your family. So you would tell your family the story, then you would pass it on to your friends, and then you know before you knew it, the story was already all over the city. Everybody had heard about it just by word of mouth. Okay, we call that oral transmission. All right. So and then the books came into the scene and then it changed everything because with the first printer by Gutenberg, uh, the first stories of the world became accessible to a lot of people. But of course, to read the stories, you needed to first learn how to read. Okay, so that's what was different between oral stories or oral traditions and written stories, printed stories. Okay, so that's really true. That's how everything started.
They can be told through music, books, poetry, and art.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You see, so it's interesting the way our society behaves because nowadays we can communicate much more and to a lot more people because we have technology. So the moment you post a message in seconds, a lot of people can read that message. Totally different from the past, but we are still doing the same thing. We are telling stories. We are communicating. We are trying to show the world our vision of the world. Okay? So the idea is the same. Okay? Good. So when you read or listen to a story, how important is each thing? So, I forgot to ask you the third question. What kind of stories do you like? So, what kind of stories do you prefer? Stories from books, stories from movies, from music, art? Which one is your favorite way to learn about a story or to get to know a story? Oh, very nice, Willem. Books. Me too. I love reading stories from books. That's a great way. That's a wonderful way, actually, to get into the mind of the writer, the author, the person who wrote that book. You can understand a little bit the way he or she thinks. And we can also learn a lot because they share a lot of knowledge. Yeah, that's good. So let's see who else is here. Giovanni, Rebecca, what kind of stories do you like most? Stories told in movies, via TV
What
series.
story I'm like?
Yes, what kind of stories do you like most?
Um,
Stories from books, from movies.
Movies.
Mhm. Yeah, the movies. Wow,
Yeah,
beautiful
I
art.
like the
Beautiful art.
the Beauty and Best
The Beauty and the Beast. Oh, that's beautiful.
e não sei como é que fala em inglês, Aladdin.
Oh,
Acho que é
Aladdin. As Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Those were very traditional stories. They were super popular in the past, and they became more popular after the movies. So that's really great. It's good. Oh, very nice, Giovanni. Series and books, yes. Series can tell us many stories, and some series are really good. I love series too. Really. I used to follow some series in the past. Not nowadays because I don't have time, but in the past, I used to watch some series and they were very good. Really. Okay. So, when you read or listen to a story, how important is each thing? So, let's see here. We are going to rank according to the item. Not important, quite important, or very important. So, here we have a list. Number one, it has a happy ending. Is that important? So that every story has a happy ending. Number two, the characters are interesting. So, how important is that for you? Number three, it's exciting. Is that important? Number four, it's true. Do all stories need to be true to be interesting? Number five, it teaches me something. And number six, the language is beautiful. So, how do you rank these things in terms of importance? What do you think? Like, for example, it has a happy ending. Do you think every story should have a happy ending?
I think it's not.
You think it's not important? Yes, it's not important because some stories they have to finish with this open ending, as they call it, so that we keep thinking. Some writers know how to do this very well, to keep you wondering, to keep you thinking what might have happened. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's true, right? Especially books or movies that have a sequel, right? So you finish that first movie, but it's kind of open ended because you know there will be another one. So they just leave it out in the open, and
Exactly.
isn't it? So, like for example, I don't know if you read the books from J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter. I guess there were
Uh, I know, I
seven,
know.
7 or 8 books. I don't remember now. And
Mm-hmm.
some of them were made into
I only
movies.
have one. I have
You
only
read?
one.
Oh,
I don't know.
you read only one? Oh, okay. I
Not
think
yet.
I
Not.
think I read 3. I think I read 3 of them only. The first 3 books. Then I stopped reading, but
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go back to to that book again and try to finish because the story is really sweet and it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun. So okay. So the characters are interesting. How important is that in a story? That one is
I
something,
think it's very
yeah,
important.
very
Yeah.
important. Yeah, that is something I really think should be important so we can feel the need to keep reading, right? It's exciting. What do you think?
Um, I don't know. Why it's important?
Quite
Uh,
important, yes, okay. It's true.
mm, not important for
Not
me.
important, yeah. Because sometimes we see amazing stories, we watch amazing films, and We read books that are not true, but they are incredible, right? So fiction is also really good. So it teaches me something. Quite important. It's nice to learn something with the series. It's not really so important, but we always learn something, even when we don't even notice. We are learning something, so it's interesting. The language is beautiful. That's not so important, in my opinion. It should be clear because we need to understand, but not necessarily beautiful. Like, so I would say that is not important, but you can choose your own. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. So let's go to our next page. Did you manage to do that, Giovanni and Rebecca? Yes. Would
Yeah.
you? Okay, Rebecca, would you like to share any of your choices? Would you like to add anything?
No, it's similar of mine.
Similar. Okay. All right. Great. What about you, Giovanni? Is everything similar too? Would you like to add anything? Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So let's move on to the next page. Okay, and see here. Look, the Brothers Promise. Sounds like the title of a story or the name of a book. Title of book. It really looks like a story, right? So let's say the first one. Let me zoom in so we can all see that full screen. Number one, read the definition of a folk tale. Then discuss the questions below in a small group. Oh, how nice. That's good. Great, William. That's very nice. Rick Riordan. Yeah, he's really good. Congratulations. That's nice. Okay. So let's see here, guys.
He's
Sorry, I couldn't understand what you said. Could you say that again, please?
no. Just I just say that he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's really good. Very nice. Okay, guys. So let's see. Read the definition of a folk tale. What is a folk tale? What do you think? We're going to see that. Okay, let me highlight here. All right. Then discuss the questions below in a small group. We are in a small group already, right? So let's see the definition. A folk tale is a very old story. We don't know who the author is. Folk tales are usually spoken. People tell the stories to their children and grandchildren. Mm, interesting, isn't it? This definition was adapted from the Oxford Dictionary of Literary Terms, 4th edition, by Chris Baldick. So, what do you understand by folktale? First thing, it's a very old story. Number one, okay? Second, we don't know who the author is. So we usually don't know the author. Folk tales are usually spoken. So this is another characteristic. Usually spoken. So they are transmitted orally. I tell you, you tell your friends tell their friends, and so on and so forth. So people tell stories to their children and grandchildren. Um, do you know any folk tales here in Brazil? I think I do, but I don't know if they are really folk tales. I believe they are. Let me show you some pictures. Let me get here another tab. Just a second.
I think I know, but I don't know if I am right. That's okay.
Okay. Let me just check if there is an author to this story here. Yes, it is a folk tale. So I can show you the pictures. This is one of Brazilian's folk tale. Okay. Can you see the images on Google? Yes? So do you know who this character is? Have you ever heard any stories by Saci Pererê? I don't know because you're very young. So I don't know if at your age you got in touch with the stories from our folklore. So these are folk tales, okay? Oh, very nice. So Saci Pererê, for example, is a folk tale, and this folk tale became more popular with the influence of Monteiro Lobato, but he was not the one who originated this folk tale. Okay, this folk tale existed before Monteiro Lobato, but then he decided to include Saci Pererê in one of his stories, Sítio do Pica-Pau Amarelo. So when he decided to include this character in his story, then he became more famous, more popular. So I think here we have, yeah, look. That's so nice. I don't know if you remember. I think this guy here is one of the original Saci Pereires that we had on the show. It was so cute. There are so many different actors who played Saci Pererê, but I think that this Romeu Evaristo was one of the original ones who played Saci Pererê for Sítio do Pica-Pau Amarelo, I think. It was a very old show, very old. The images are, look, yeah, that's him. Yeah, look. That was back in 1977. Wow, long time ago. Yes, there he is. Look. So Saci Pererê is a folk tale. Okay. Another folk tale is Boitatá, Sucupira, all these stories. Okay, because they've all existed, but some authors, some writers made them popular as they inserted the character in their stories. Okay, so the folk tale was kind of absorbed by the story, and then it became really famous. The images are great. Look, I love this illustration. It's really cute. So that is a nice folk tale. Okay, so let's go back to our book. Okay, so as we have folk tales in Brazil, they also have folk tales there in the United States, in England. Okay, so now next question: do you like folk tales? I used to like them when I was a child. Okay, why do you think people tell folk tales? Why? Yeah, they are the story of the people of a place. They they tell us about our culture. They represent what we believe in, the story of the people who actually started everything. People who live in the country. Yeah, especially now, guys. Now, I mean, yesterday, June started, and today's June 2nd. And this month of June, June and July mostly, we have the June festivals, right? Here in Brazil. They're very popular, and it's a moment of um, celebrating our culture, celebrating the people from the country, celebrating the stories told by our parents, grandparents, and also it's a time to eat good food from the countryside. So it's a very nice time of the year. I love June and July, to be honest. It's a wonderful time. First, because the temperature is lower. So it's better to be here in low temperatures. I don't like when it's summer because it's too hot. And second, because we have the June festivals. So we love celebrating, and this kind of party is very good for the entire family. So we can say June Festival or June Fest. Do you like June festivals, guys? Yes.
Oh, I love this too.
Yeah, me too, me too. Anahiye, Anahiye. It's so much fun. Oh my God. I used to play a lot when I was younger. I used to dance in June festivals with choreographies at school. Those were really good times. Oh my God. Oh, that's okay, Giovanni. I'm so happy you made it. I'm so happy you were able to come back. Let's take a picture before you crash again. Let me see here. You don't need to open your camera if you don't need to. I mean, if you don't want to, it's okay. I will just take a picture of the list of participants. That's enough. Okay. So let me print it out here. Okay. And now let me save because sometimes I print screen, but I don't save. I leave it for later. And then later I can't save anymore. And then it's gone and I lose the picture. So I have to save right away. So just a moment. Let me do the saving here. Okay, good. I'm just saving, okay, guys, because I have to open so many files. No, it's not May anymore. June. Okay, guys. Perfect. Yay. Done. All right. So let's move on. Here, let's do number 2, guys. Vocabulary. Match each bold word or phrase to the correct definition. So here we have some words in bold, and down here we have the definitions. So let's see the first one. You can't force someone to like you. Which definition here best describes the meaning of the word force? Let's try to find it. Yes, have you found? Okay. Something tells me you found letter F to be the best definition. Is it right? Yes? Okay. Look at what letter F says. To make somebody do something that they don't want to do. To make somebody do something that they don't want to do. So that's to force. Okay, so now it's 4:28. I'll give you 2 minutes, 2 minutes to do the others. Okay, it's very
Okay.
simple. Then we correct. Okay. Have you finished? Let's correct. Yes. Good. So let's see that. What did you put here in number 2? Don't hit your little brother. That's not nice.
Letter D.
Let's see. Yay, very good. Great. Let's see number 3. Please don't fight. Someone will get hurt.
Letter A.
Yes, great. Very good. Number 4. Will you make a promise? While you're away, text me every day.
Letter C.
Great. Excellent. Very good. Number 5. I don't want to argue with you. Let's just talk nicely.
Letter B.
Letter B. Okay. All right.
B. B.
B. All right. Number 6. If you're angry at someone, don't avoid the person. Talk to them.
E.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Letter E.
Excellent. So there you go. You have the definition to all these words: force, hit, fight, make a promise, argue, avoid. All right, guys, that's really good. Everything correct. Now, oh, look at this picture. Oh, what's going on here? What are they doing?
They are fighting. Huh?
Yes, it
I don't.
seems that they're fighting. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yes. So, number 3, complete the sentences with the words from exercise number 2. Change the form if necessary. So, the first one says, I have a great relationship with my sister now, but when we were kids, we all the time.
Fight.
So here we should use the verb fight. But let's see if the answer is in the present or in the past. Because if we put fight, we are using the verb in the present. Okay?
Yeah.
So here the person is saying,
Something in the past.
when we were kids. So this is past. So what is the past of the verb to fight? Does anybody know? No, it's irregular. So fought, fight, fought. It's irregular. It's not regular. Okay, irregular. So irregular verbs, yeah, they are different. Okay, so the sentence is like this: I have a great relationship with my sister now, but when we were kids, we fought all the time. Now, number 2, Richard doesn't like sad stories, so he
Avoid. Avoid them.
avoids. Now, here, the sentence is in the present, so we should use the verb in the present. Here, it's the third person singular. So we should use avoids. Okay? Because the subject is he. It's the third person singular. Okay, so we need to put the S here on the verb. Okay, so he avoids reading them. Let's see the next one. In many movies and books, the hero, wow, these playboys. In many movies and books, the hero has to the villain. Let's see the verbs. Yes, in many movies and books, the hero has to hit the villain or fight the villain. Fight is good here. Okay. Here, we are using the verb in the present, but this is infinitive because the sentence is in the present. In many movies and books, the hero has to fight. Okay, so we are conjugating the verb have to, which is a modal verb, in the present. Okay, that's why fight is in the infinitive form. Number 4, our teachers us to read Shakespeare, and all the students hated it. What do you think? Yes, very good. In the past. The sentence is in the past. Excellent. Forced. Forced. Number 5. In some folk tales, the main character and then breaks it.
That's trouble. Oh my gosh. Make the promise.
Yes, very good. Look, make a promise. But now, let's see here. In some folk tales, the main character and then breaks it. So the sentence is in the present. So let's conjugate the verb in the present. Make a promise when I'm referring to the main character. The main character corresponds to the third person singular. So here I have to put the S on the verb. Makes a promise. Okay, here you go. Can you see that? Yes? Okay. So in some folk tales, the main character makes a promise and then breaks it. Good. Now number 6. Julia threw the ball and it the window. The window broke and she got in trouble. So, which verb should I use that? Yes, very good, William. Hit. And this verb here is in the past because all the sentence is in the past. Everything is in the past here. So the verb hit is always in the past there too. It's also in the past. Sorry. It so happens that the verb hit is irregular. So hit in the present or base form becomes hit in the past. So it's just the way it is. Hit, hit. No change. All right. Yes, irregular verbs. There's always a surprise. Okay. So this one here, we just say hit and it's already in the past. So, yeah, easy peasy. Very good. Okay, great, guys. So let's check the answers. Here, we could also use, before we check the answers, let me just review our answer to number one. Because here we put, I have a great relationship with my sister now, but when we were kids, we fought all the time. Instead of using fight, because we used the verb fight in number three, maybe we could use another verb, like for example, argue. Okay, instead of fight, we could use argue because argue is when you have a discussion in a negative way with somebody, right? Like here, speak angrily to somebody because you don't agree with them. Usually, as children, we fight more than argue, but maybe here, I don't know, but I think they used argue in the past, argued. Okay. The verb to argue is regular. Okay. So just to avoid repetition. Okay, guys. But let's see. Yes, everything right. You see, I had this feeling that they were going to use argue in the first one and not fight. Okay, guys, did you get everything correct? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Fantastic, people. So just to close this page here, they're going to introduce this listening skill here, understanding the speaker's purpose. So let's check it out just quickly, because I know that the practice to this activity and to this box is going to come in on the next page. So let's see. To help focus your listening, identify a speaker's purpose or reason for speaking. Three purposes for speaking are: number one, to inform, to teach or give information to the listener. So, to teach or give information to the listener. This is purpose number one. Purpose number two, persuade, to try to make the listener believe something. Purpose number three, entertain, to make the listener have fun. Okay? So when you listen to something, especially in a different language, in English, that you need to strive to understand, try to know the meaning, the purpose of the listening. What is the purpose? Inform, persuade, entertain. It helps a lot to understand what's going to come. Okay? All right, guys, this is only a tip. Probably The activities to practice this are on the next page, on page 89, but we will do page 89 next class. Yes, just like I thought. Look, okay, guys, but we will talk more about it next week. So let's go back to our page on Google Classroom. Here I posted the two pages we were supposed to do, 87 and 88, new lesson. The homework is going to be online practice unit 8.1. So you can review the vocabulary, any other interesting information about the lesson. Here, I reposted some information on the simple past, okay? Because we are also using the simple past to tell stories, to evaluate stories, to listen to stories. We have a lot of simple past there. It's always present. Okay, guys? And there are some pictures here to illustrate folk stories. Okay? All right, guys. So this homework here is due June 7th, right? Next week. Enjoy your holiday. Try to relax. Enjoy your weekend. And hope to see you again on Monday. Okay, guys. Take care. Bye, Rebecca.
Bye.
Bye,
See you next
William.
week.
See you next week.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
William.
Bye.
Take
I have
care.
a nice week.
Oh, you too, dear. Have a nice weekend. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.